Welcome to a special Christmas episode of What It Was Like. This episode is going to be about all of the treasured childhood memories I have of getting game consoles for Christmas. Often not the newest game consoles, and often not literally new consoles, and that was actually the best in some circumstances, and I have a great story about that. But real quick, I do want to start by apologizing for my Halloween episode, and I'd like to especially apologize to anyone who watched it. I made it when I was unwell and in a migraines-induced state of paranoia. I became convinced that if I was too critical of Disney, that they would come after me somehow, which is only slightly deranged, but I went back and watched the video later and I was like, wow, this verges from utterly bland to pro-Disney propaganda version of historical events. I hate this video. So anyway, I took it down. I'll bring it back next year and redo it, and I'll make it good. I've mentioned a few times before in other videos that my brother and I were mostly Sega kids. Now, we had other systems, but most of the systems we would get were used consoles that were a few years old or were on their way out. That Sega Saturn in the first picture, that was Christmas of '97, when the Saturn was mostly declared dead in the US. So that meant it was affordable to us, and, you know, I gotta tell you, I never felt like I was missing out having those systems that were a few years old or were hitting the bargain bin. I always had a ton of fun with those, and I have a really hilarious story about the first time and only time, I guess, we only ever got a brand new system for Christmas. But before that, I have to share a little bit from some of these childhood pictures my mom hunted down after she watched my Dreamcast video. And it's funny, she found the exact pictures that perfectly compare the drawings I did depicting myself. She found photographs of me not only at those ages, but wearing the same clothes. So real quick, I just wanted to put those up next to my pictures so you could see how accurate or inaccurate my memories are here. I had a lot of fun drawing these pictures of myself as a kid, and while I tried to kind of caricaturize myself, I was actually kind of amazed at how accurate they were, considering I hadn't seen any of these pictures in at least 20 years. Now, here's one where I'm actually wearing the exact same shirt, though I'm about a year younger. And you can see it's honestly a pretty reasonable depiction. I got the haircut right and everything. And I also mentioned my pretty rapid onset of puberty between 12 and 13. So here I am at about 11 or 12 as an offensive lineman. And then happened the year of many lawns, as I mentioned in my Dreamcast video. And now here you can see me a year later at about age 13 as a nose tackle, defensive end, and occasional punter. You don't normally punt in middle school football, but it is legal. So there was one other punter in the entire league, I believe, a girl named Jennifer. And I never punted, I believe she did once. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny comparing me. Now, I did exaggerate, I think, my teenage facial hair at this age a little bit. But you could see the peach fuzz on my arms, my leg, and my upper lip there. So, you know, it was only slight. I didn't quite look like Jack Black yet. That took about another year. But I just thought it was fun kind of pulling these out and a little reality check, you know, show you how accurately I actually depict my own life when I'm doing this stuff. So yeah, let's get into the Christmas memories for real now. I'm going to reuse this photo here from Christmas '97 of when I got my used Sega Saturn, but this story is actually from Christmas of 1992 when we got the Sega Genesis bundle with Sonic 2 that made a lot of kids' Christmas that year. But let me real quick just show a photo of these two systems today just for fun. Anyway, my parents, you know, being clever and thinking they were real funny, thought they were going to give us a white elephant gift, so they hid the Sega Genesis, and instead, under the tree, they put this beat-up old box of an original Nintendo and a whole bunch of games. Now, of course, my parents expected us to scoff at this thing they got for probably under 20 bucks at a garage sale, since Nintendos were totally ubiquitous and nearly worthless at the time. But actually, in 1992, we still had an Atari 2600, so this box with all these games, these were amazing games. We were so excited that we spent the next hour and a half. We didn't even open any of the other presents. We pulled out the NES, hooked it up to the TV, and we were still playing Mario Brothers 3. And finally, my dad comes out and he's like, okay, kids, hey, I think there's another present over there under the desk. And so Dustin and I are like, yeah, we don't care, Dad. We just discovered Strider. And my dad's like, no, really, you'll be excited. Trust me, come on, kids. And we just totally took all the fun out of this thing my parents, you know, had planned to be us disappointed getting the Nintendo. And so we go over there and we open it, and it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like double epiphany. We had just received a NES with a huge box full of the best games, and then we got a Sega Genesis, which to us, even though it was 3 years old at the time, it was cutting edge technology. It was the closest thing to it was brand new, the first brand new system, and the closest thing to a current system that was cutting edge for us that we'd ever had. So this was the most Christmas miracle that we could have possibly imagined. And even though we had all those great Nintendo games, I don't think Sonic 2 came out of the Genesis, or that we played anything else, for probably the next week and a half. It was like first we managed to get to where we could beat the game. And then a while after that, it was like we figured out, it was like, oh, okay, if you get these Chaos Emerald things, you can turn into Super Sonic. And, it was like one thing after another. And then we started mastering the time attack mode of playing against each other. And it was a lot of fun out of a game console from a day when we got pack-in games that oftentimes would be the best game for the system at that time. Getting Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt with an original Nintendo was, honestly, all you could need for months you could have with those games. And so I think it's really sort of a poignant reminder of, no, it's not just your imagination, parents. There used to be a little bit more in the box when you opened it up. I was initially really struggling with making this video because, well, I'm not blind to the privilege of myself buying a new Xbox in a year when a lot of people are worried about food and shelter. And then my mom, being the angel that she is, sent me those pictures and reminded me of this story. And I think it really does fit in with my theme of trying to find a way to find happiness and joy in this holiday season, and if possible, share it with our children so that they don't grow up with a year of misery and, no holiday joy and celebration in their lives. And I think that this was a really good story to tell at this time, because maybe this is the year that a box of old video games or old Legos or who knows what is the thing that will provide that joy to those kids, just like that time when a box of what someone considered junk at the time was more entertaining to us than anything else under the tree, and we didn't even stop to find out that we had something even better coming to us. And I think that's really the moral of the story. It's, even if the best thing is not available to you, sometimes there's more than you expect in something that you already had or something that you can acquire. And I think we should really all try to remember this. Oh, I'm tearing up a little bit. Oh, just taking too much of my own sauce, I guess. But I hope that's something that we can all try to invest in this year, because it is a difficult year, and just buying a brand new video game console due to lack of supply or lack of funds is something that's out of reach for a lot of us. And so I think we should remember what we still can do and what we are able to do to bring joy to our children this holiday season. Merry Christmas. This has been What It Was Like. I'm Ryan Lecoq.